for 2 whole years. Like, it was not living. I was surviving him. Like, why I kept giving him chance after chance, even though I was kind of seeing things that bothered me.
You may think that you know everything about Jack Doherty because he spends so much time online. But believe me when I say you are going to learn some new things. Mckinley Richardson went on the Camilla Araujo podcast and she told us things that are totally unimaginable to most normal people. She is going to tell us what it was like for the last 2 years of being with Jack Doherty. Now, you voted for this video. I've already done part 1 and this is going to continue on from that. So in part 1, we learned the wedding was fake, which we already knew.
This guy can't be serious. Do you both promise to love one another, always tell the truth, cherish each other forever and ever?
I do.
We learned that he flipped the golf cart on top of Mckinley on purpose, didn't take her to the hospital, went off on a yacht, and then turned up later and videoed her and various other things. But believe me, those are all tame compared to what you are going to learn in this video. We are going to learn how Jack is super manipulative, how he manipulated Mckinley and all of the other girls that he manages around him, as well as his camera crew and other staff. We're going to learn Mckinley is pregnant and what happens in that scenario. We're going to learn about an addiction and an alleged SA. We know from the last video that Jack puts content before everything and everyone else. And we learned part of that in part 1 with the golf cart. But that is not the only time that he traumatises Mckinley and refuses to stop filming.
What'd they do? What the fuck? Got robbed? Yeah. Wait, what'd he do? I don't know. Wait, did he take your stuff?
Screaming and shouting at a traumatized woman is not the true love story that Jack wants to portray to everyone, is it? He is showing his real, true colours there.
I think!
What the fuck?
Oh no, I said first my bag is to get your fucking bag!
He took your purse?
I don't know!
McKinley, where?
Oh my god!
Where's the key? Where's the key? Okay.
But that was the most real trauma ever. Like, it was a noise that had never came out of me before. I was freaking out. Jack was, yelling at me. He was like, what happened? What happened? And I'm like shaking. I'm like, I can't even like explain what happened. I don't know. And it was obviously very, very traumatic for me. And I was like, please shut the cameras off. Like, I cannot, like, please take me off this camera. And he refused.
Why?
But I just started it.
Like, why?
Because this is like fucking great.
Everything's great content for you.
But it happened.
Died.
But you're alive. Let's share the story. Come on, I thought you agreed.
You're thinking that's okay.
Tomorrow, though, you're gonna be so happy to record this. You know that.
Maybe record it, but going live again.
Because it gets clipped. You're gonna see it on TikTok.
It doesn't matter.
It
doesn't matter.
I'm doing this
for once. Please, I'm asking. Please.
If we record it, it makes it easier.
He refused to shut off the camera. He refused to stop his live stream. He was laughing about it, saying like, well, you're gonna wake up tomorrow and like you're gonna wake up to all these TikToks and like these viral clips. And I'm like, Jack, I don't care. I'm like, everything is content. Like, I don't know what isn't anymore. Like, even this, like, you can't even just feel a little bit of empathy for me after going through that. And he continued his live stream. He didn't listen to me. And I was like, what more does it take for you to just respect me? And what happened to you? What happened to the guy that made me feel safe in the beginning? Like, this was horrible, and now you don't care. And I realized in that moment, I was like, this man doesn't fucking care about me.
Mckinley is begging Jack to turn the cameras off because of her being allegedly robbed, and she is crying and asking nicely for him to do it, and he point blank refuses because all he ever thinks about is content, content, content. And McKinley goes on to say in the podcast how Jack manages to keep going all the time when he's been up for 24 to 36 hours. She's going to explain to us how Jack manages to do that on a regular basis.
Horrible. Strictly just, content, 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 content. I was like, how do you keep up with all of this stuff? Like, I'm exhausted. Like, how does your life, like, how do you continue to do this? And he was like, it's Adderall. Like, you should try. He was like, you will be successful. I'm not proud of it at all, but I had a horrible Adderall addiction dating him because of him telling me I needed to keep up with him. And also, it's like when Jack's face is somewhere, I was always there. I had to keep up with him without that substance. And when I did that, I felt more motivated, and it gave me a feeling. I'm not on it anymore, thankfully, but that ruined my life. I couldn't function without it.
Allegedly, they would take Adderall as soon as they got up in the mornings. Jack was always up first, so he would get McKinley up, they would take it together, and then he'd be running off down the stairs to make the next video. And they didn't even eat, not just breakfast, but lunch or dinner either. So the manipulation is getting a lot stronger at this point.
When he did it, I would do it every morning before I could even eat breakfast. I did it because we needed to go downstairs and film as soon as, we woke up. We had no time to eat. He hated when people ate. He would get mad at people when we were eating and saying we were wasting time and we needed to focus on content and we're taking too long to eat. So I went through a very long period with just not eating and just waking up and taking Adderall. And I weighed 140 pounds when I moved down to Florida. I wasn't eating for like a week at a time.
Jack didn't only run McKinley ragged with the hectic filming schedule, he also allegedly stole money from her as well because he had access to her bank account.
And had now financial dominance.
Yes. A lot of people don't know this, but his main income is fans. I didn't know that meeting him in the beginning. I felt like, I knew he did social media. I didn't know he made a lot of money for fans. But of course, when I'm, involved in it and I'm making the money and I am seeing how much I am making and how much he was taking. The day I was buying my car, I went into that bank account, which was where I was gonna use that money to buy my car. And I looked at it and it was all gone. And I was like, what? Like, I was so confused. Thank goodness I had money in my other accounts because I was making YouTube money. So I was able to wire the money for the car. He took that money from me and put it into the house. And
how much?
I want to say $300,000 he stole from me.
That's very typical and hypocritical of Jack to take the money out of the bank account because he doesn't agree with McKinley buying a car when he's got 5 sat on his driveway. But it's okay for him, but not for her. Is that because he thought that if she had her own car, she would leave him? Well, that turns out to be true, doesn't it? Because at the end, when she does leave him, she has got her own car and she drives away in it and leaves him. So maybe he had a bit of foresight there. But the bad behaviour continues and it gets much, much, much worse.
I remember him coming up to my face, sticking his finger in my face this close and saying, "You fucking stupid fucking whore." And I looked at him and I was like, we're done. Like, I'm done. And I got up, I started walking, and that's when he put his hands on me. For the first time ever, it had escalated not only to emotional and mental abuse that he's put me through, He was grabbing onto me, not letting me leave the room. He grabbed me by my arms. He sat me down on the bed, made me sit on his lap. I was trying to get away from him. I was like, get away from me. Like, you just said this to me. You change like this. It's scary. It was scary as
I really don't understand how Broccoli Head has got the absolute audacity to call her a whore when he was the one that made her do OF in the first place. She told us in the first video that she was totally against it. She was manipulated by him to actually do it because she'd been involved with him for quite a few months and she had actually fallen for him, and yet all he was trying to do was use her to get her into OF. Now we're going to find out what happens when Mckinley finds out that she is pregnant.
As soon as we get into the car, he sparks up a blunt, and I'm sitting right next to him, and he's blowing smoke into my face, like weed smoke. And I looked at him, and I couldn't say anything in a car full of people, but I looked at him, and I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, here I am, your pregnant girlfriend, and you think it's funny to blow smoke into my face.
Blowing smoke in someone's face is the action of an imbecile, a child, someone who doesn't know right from wrong. But the only difference is this idiot isn't a child. He is supposedly an adult. He just doesn't know how to act like one. And now we're going to get on to the worst accusation. Now, this did actually happen at the beginning of the relationship. And I must say, what we're going to be told is extremely shocking. It carries a trigger warning. So if you are triggered by anything to do with SA, then I would click away from the video now.
But within that first week, something horrible happened to me. He had a hometown friend there that he had known
Staying with you.
Staying with
In the
us
house.
in the house.
Okay.
We end up going to bed, and I just remember waking up and his hand was in my pants. I was in the middle of him and Jack, and I just felt so violated and scared. I woke up freaking out. I pushed him away from me, and I'm like trying to tap Jack, and I'm like, Jack, and he's drunk as shit. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I'm pushing this guy off of me, and he doesn't care. I turned, he just is saying, I'm gonna fuck you right now. And I woke him up, and Jack woke up, and he was like, I was like, get him out of here. Like, I don't know what to do. And he's trying to hump me from the back while I'm talking to Jack, and Jack is awake. And Jack is like, bro, get out of here. Like, what are you doing? Go. And he was like, I don't give a fuck. I'm fucking her right now. I pulled Jack aside. I was like, I need to talk to you. And I was like, do you remember what happened last night? He was like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? And I was like, he did that to me. Like, and I explained it in detail, and he was like, holy shit, I remember. He was like, oh my God, like, I'm so sorry. He was hugging me. I don't know what conversation they had with him, but from that day forward, I had never seen ever again. Like, Jack fully cut him off.
You can tell that this was more towards the beginning of the relationship, because Jack did cut his friend off and they never had any other encounters with him. But I've also got to say that I'm very shocked that Mckinley went through that and actually stayed. She must have really thought a lot of Jack in the beginning, but then she wasn't doing OF. He was still whining and dining her and treating her like a princess. But as soon as she signed on the dotted line of the contract for OF, his demeanour, actions, and the way he treated her completely changed. So I'm really glad that she got away from him. She is rebuilding her life. Obviously, everything in this video is alleged because you weren't there and neither was I. But thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, turn on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye for now.